In the TARDIS control room, Vicky and Stephen were waiting impatiently for the Doctor to complete some calculations.
Oh, Doctor, you've been writing in that notebook of yours for hours. Haven't you finished yet?
Oh, yes, I believe I have, my dear. In moments we will be at the 2784 Olympic Games, New Philadelphia, in all its glory.
You mean it, Doctor? You can really get us there?
I can, my boy. I most certainly can.
I'm not sure I believe anything you say about these Olympics, Stephen. The 4-minute light year? How is that even possible?
Tricky physics, Vicky, but glorious to watch. Doctor, could we get tickets for the quantum javelin? You never know when or where it'll end up. Or maybe the team astronautics. The stadium's the entire moon.
I don't believe a word of this, Stephen. And, Doctor, you know you can't control the TARDIS. It has a mind of its own.
Oh, have a little faith, my dear.
We'll be lucky if we get within a century of these games.
We shall see about that.
Come on, then. Let's have a look.
That doesn't look very 28th century, Doctor.
No, it doesn't. Just a wooden wall.
Well, there may have been a little temporal drift, but just a little. Let's have a look around and take some readings.
So, business as usual, in other words?
Certainly not, child. I have every intention and every capability of getting you precisely where you wish to go.
But just not when we actually want to go there, eh, Doctor?
Oh, shush.
Nearly there. Come on, Stephen.
Oh, come on. What's going on out there?
The TARDIS had materialised at the bottom of the stairs in an old wooden farmhouse. The time travellers could barely squeeze past the panelled walls as they emerged from the ship. Eventually, they made it out into a simple hallway leading onto a dining room.
Oh, gracious me.
Are you all right, Doctor?
Quite all right, thank you.
Nice parking.
Did they have a retro theme at the Olympic Village in 2784?
Not as far as I remember.
I suppose that means we're not in the right place.
No, we're not. Where do you think we are, Doctor?
The Doctor fiddled with an instrument, which looked a little like a barometer and a little like a sextant.
Doctor?
Oh, do be quiet, my boy. I'm trying to concentrate.
Looking out of the window, Stephen could see blue skies, rolling green hills, and very few houses. Well, if we are on Earth, it's hundreds of years before my time.
And mine.
Yes, most interesting. I allowed for gravitational dilation, you see, but I think I must have overcompensated.
The Doctor briefly showed the device to his companions before whisking it away again. His chuckle seemed to imply that its workings were far beyond their comprehension. That might have been true, but it was still a little unwelcome.
Overcompensated by exactly how much, Doctor?
Oh, I would say, yes. I would say no more than 12 or 13 centuries.
Wonderful, Doctor. Thank you.
So where are we then?
Smell the air. No pollution. No chemicals. A fine summer's day in... Yes, a fine Florentine summer.
Florence? The Renaissance? You can tell that just by sniffing the air?
Yes. Well, and by that farmer's almanac on the table there, too. The year is 1514. a wonderful vintage of time to taste and savour.
So there's nothing in this period we need to watch out for?
Oh, there's a little backstabbing, I suppose. Some plots, the odd civil war, torture, religious persecution, and the ever-constant threat of violence and damnation should we be foolish enough to criticise the current religious orthodoxy.
Right, then perhaps we should go.
No, please. I'm sure we'll be safe. We can be careful.
Of course we can. For every sordid political plot, there's also a splendid piece of art, or philosophy, or science. Goodness me, have you never even met Leonardo?
No.
Well, I'm sure we can do something about that. Oh yes, I'm sure that we can.
With that, and with a glittering twinkle in his eye, the doctor set off to explore. We should go with him.
What are you so jumpy for? I want to look outside. Oh,
Look at all these paintings. Whoever lived here must be...
Stephen!
You are under house arrest in the name of His Excellency Captain General Giuliano de Medici.
Who are you?
I'm the one pointing the sword at your neck, young lady. The occupant of this place is supposed to be under house arrest. That means no visitors, no disturbances, and definitely no seditious costumes.
We were just leaving.
Leaving? How did you get here?
Vicky couldn't help herself. Her eyes shot over to the stairs where the TARDIS stood incongruously in the wood-panelled hall.
What in the name of Lorenzo the Magnificent is that?
It's our...
It's the...
Well, whatever it is, it's not staying here, and neither are you. It and you on the back of my wagon now. Oi, lads!
Right, lads. You two on that side. You two there. On my command.
What's this?
Hearing the commotion in the other room, the doctor headed for the door. But another man appeared from the shadows.
I really wouldn't if I were you.
Wouldn't what, sir?
If you attempt to intercede, the palace guards will simply arrest you too.
Oh, is that so? May I ask whom I am addressing?
This is my farmhouse, on my land, so perhaps I might better direct that question to you.
I am the doctor.
Really? In which case, then, I am the writer, the strategist, the diplomat, and the scholar. Perhaps on a good day I could be the wine steward, too.
Oh, are you? Are you indeed? You are a most impudent man.
If I cry out once, those guards will arrest you also. I shall tell them you are a gang of thieves, that you broke in and were planning to rob me.
Then why don't you?
Why would I choose to make you an enemy when you could be a powerful ally?
If you truly want to be my ally, then go out there and vouch for my young friends. Quickly now, quickly.
Sadly, Doctor, the conditions of my house arrest forbid me from having visitors. If I claim to know them, I shall lose what few privileges I have left, and possibly an assortment of limbs as well.
Anyone else in there?
I must go and talk with them. Wait here.
Oh, very well, very well. Thank you. Perhaps you will now kindly tell me your name?
I am Niccolo Machiavelli.
Are you? Are you now indeed? I see. I see.
Signor!
Excuse me.
Oh, dear, 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 dear.
There you are. Do you know these people?
Why, no, I've never set eyes on them before. Such strange clothes they wear.
Get your hands off me!
All right, that's enough.
We haven't done anything wrong.
No doubt they were intending to rob me.
What do you know about that blue box out there?
Nothing whatsoever, I assure you.
You won't mind if we confiscate it then?
Why, no, it's not my property.
Ready to go, sir?
Right, you two, get moving.
The guards began hauling Stephen and Vicky onto the coach. The TARDIS was already lashed to the back.
was all that about?
What was all what about?
The shouting when he touched your clothing. You don't usually get that angry.
I was trying to distract the guards. He put something into my hand. This.
Stephen opened his clenched fist to reveal a small metal disc with the letters N.M. stamped into it.
I just wish I knew what it meant.
Who was that man? And where's the doctor?
Well, wherever we're going, the TARDIS is coming with us. And that means the Doctor won't be far behind.
In a small villa, several miles away in the town of Marignoli, two of the most powerful men in the land were in conference. One was known as Giovanni de' Medici, but was now Pope Leo X. The other was his brother, Giuliano de' Medici, Duke of Nemours and Captain General of Florence, who had come to meet him.
What can you possibly mean by this, brother?
I mean exactly what I say. You will have to delay your arrival into Florence.
Kindly address me as Your Holiness, even when we are not in company.
Your Holiness. How could I have forgotten?
Giuliano, this will be my first papal visit to Florence, and you want me to wait another week before I arrive?
I have evidence that there is a plot to murder you the moment you set your infallible foot in the city. That is why I suggest a short delay whilst I find these conspirators and deal with them.
And how would you intend to deal with them?
I will capture them, interrogate them, and have them publicly executed.
I am beginning to tire of your headstrong behaviour. There is much talk of it in Rome.
It is better to be headstrong than soft-hearted. Better to be too quick to avenge our name than too quick to treaty. Unlike you, I am not determined to waste all our money on art, vanity, and relentless banqueting.
What you call art and vanity, I call glorifying God Almighty. You would do well to remember your debt to your Creator, faithless brother.
Does God also command you to consume roasted peacock's breasts by the cartload, Holy Father?
Is that what you truly think of me? Well, I am determined to arrive in Florence this afternoon. I trust your Florentine retinue will protect me from these attempts on my life, should any, in fact, materialize.
As you wish.
The Doctor paced and fretted as Machiavelli prepared a simple meal for them both.
Come and sit, Doctor. Your hunger won't help your friends. Come and join me for some soup.
Oh, dear, dear, dear. It's my fault, you see, my fault entirely. I attempted to allow for the gravitational dilation, but
But you overcompensated, I know.
Oh, you understand temporal navigation?
Doctor, your words make as little sense to me as Greek does to a Spaniard. But you have made the same remark a dozen times already. More than enough for me to commit your gibberish to memory.
But Stephen and Vicky... Oh, that poor child.
They will have been taken to the Medici Palace. From there, Giuliano purports to rule Florence, whereas in fact all he does is punish the innocent arbitrarily and savagely.
But, in that case, it is even more vital that we get them free.
Doctor, please. Even if he were minded to execute your friends immediately, he will have no time to carry out such an action. He is quite consumed with preparations for the papal visit of his brother.
And how do you know all this, pray?
Very little occurs in Florence that I do not get to hear about. I have connections.
Yes, so you keep saying. But what use are these fabled connections if you don't use them, eh? You promised to help find my friends.
Doctor, again, I must ask you for a little patience. All that will happen if we set out in daylight is that I will be arrested and you with me.
Yes, under house arrest, aren't you?
A temporary inconvenience, I assure you. But today of all days, I must be discreet, and that means waiting till nightfall.
In that case, I shall go alone.
And how will you find your way? It will be dark before you're halfway there, and you are a stranger in these lands. No, Doctor, you will eat your soup, and then we will discuss the matter in a civilized fashion. I'm sure we can come to some mutually beneficial arrangement.
At last, the doctor sat down and began to eat.
How is the soup?
Tolerable.
A more gracious guest in my home I can scarcely remember.
How did you come by your incarceration, then? Whom did you irritate or betray?
That is of little consequence. I was a very senior figure in Florence. I had considerable political power. And I will again, once the Medici see my value.
Oh, political power? Gracious! Why would you want such a thing? What is the matter, sir? Have I touched a nerve?
Eat your soup, Doctor. Then we will negotiate.
Servants! Confound this idle rabble. Where are my servants?
Have patience, brother. Here they come now.
Take His Holiness's belongings to the grand stateroom at once. Unless you'd be happier in more humble surroundings, Your Holiness?
Oh, no. The grand stateroom sounds most suitable.
Yes, Your Grace.
Now, would you like an hour or two in order to...
Your Grace.
I am speaking with my brother.
Just thought you'd like to know, Your Grace. We arrested 2 strangers this afternoon and brought them here. Do you want to question them?
I have His Holiness Pope Leo X under this roof tonight, to whom I have vouchsafed a carnival parade to celebrate his arrival. I cannot be bothered with strangers you have been pleased to arrest for your own peculiar reasons.
Oh, fair enough, Your Grace. Only they were found at Sant' Andrea at, Machiavelli's farmhouse.
Machiavelli's? Fire it, man. Why did you not say so? Where shall I find them?
In the cells, I expect, being under house arrest.
Well, quick, man, take me there.
Unless they've escaped, of course. We've had a lot of that here lately.
Your Holiness, I thought you had retired for the night.
Shortly. What is this, brother?
Conspirators. Conspirators have been discovered.
I thought we had established that my papal person was entirely safe under your roof.
Leave us. I will come to the cell shortly.
Your Grace.
Prominent figures such as ourselves, most holy papal ruler, will naturally attract the ire of others from time to time, but I'm certain these 2 are just common riffraff.
Is that so? Brother, I told you when I appointed you to Florence that it was our duty to rule benevolently and wisely. Yet you continually spurn this advice, pick fights, engage in vendettas, and make enemies out of allies. It is not by chance that I come to Florence. You must not throw our family's reputation away by lashing out at all and sundry.
The people must fear us. Only today I received word that the Ravelli family of Oltrarno are planning an attack on your person. We must show ourselves to be strong.
This is the same Ravelli family whose eldest son you had murdered only last winter. A vital action, you said, to keep them in check, when they had in no way wronged you?
Possibly there are 2 Ravelli families?
There are not 2 Ravelli families. You have manufactured enemies out of thin air to distract me from your own incompetence. I will question both these prisoners myself. Guard!
But brother...
Remain here, Captain General. And try not to pick a fight with yourself while I'm gone.
The Medici cells were full of beggars, street urchins, and petty thieves, the Florentine guards having cleared the streets in anticipation of the glorious papal visit. Vicky had been imprisoned in a tiny cell at one end of the corridor, unable to speak to or even see Stephen. What do you want?
Calm yourself, girl. Oh, brother, whatever were you thinking? As if this sweet child could have been planning an assassination.
A what? Who are you?
You probably don't recognize me without my robes. But you have surely seen my portrait. Is my aspect not familiar?
Are you Leonardo?
I am Pope Leo X.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to be rude. I'm a traveller. My name is Vicky.
A traveller? Yes, I see from your dress that you are not native to Florence or even Italy. I would say you're from... where?
Oh, I'm from... well, I'm a traveller. I'm from... in the TARDIS.
TARDIS, you say? I'm not sure I've heard of it. What wonderful vestments they have there. What is this material? And these colours? Is it terracotta? It is very rustic.
2, 3, heave! 1, 2, 3, heave!
Why is it so heavy?
Shut up and heave!
What in the name of Cosimo de Medici is that?
Outside the cell, several groaning guards were pulling the TARDIS with ropes, placing it in another cell.
What is this beautiful object? Why are you manhandling it?
We found it. With the prisoners. With her. His Gracefulness the Duke commanded it be locked up for safety. I mean, seems a bit silly locking up a box, but we just follow orders.
It's exquisite. The angularity of the lines, the proud, purposeful design in this violence of blue. It alludes to classical geometry, sending a message of precision through the medium of the panelled form. It must be Greek, surely.
I think it's made of wood. It's also very heavy.
This will never do. We must find somewhere more fitting to install it.
And would this more fitting place be back up those stairs we've just come down?
It might very well be. Put your backs into it.
Right, lads, you heard the man.
1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3.
What will happen to me?
Found in the home of a known criminal. You're likely to be tortured to death, I'm afraid. Especially as my brother appears to be in one of his moody moods.
Oh, no.
Unless... if I could demonstrate to my brother that you had positive value, perhaps some information about plots you may have come across. Have you heard of the Ravellis?
I don't know about any plots.
Any other talents? Musical instruments? Poetry? Song?
Poetry. Yes. Poetry. I can recite poetry.
Really, my child? Well, go on then. Recite. Show me some of your poetry, and we shall see what we can do.
Yes. Let me see. Poetry. Oh, how about this? Daisy, Daisy, give me your answer, do. I'm half crazy, all for the love of you. Is that all right?
That is beautiful. Simply beautiful. And you know more like that?
A few more, yes. I've been catching up in the...
Excellent. Then tonight you will recite your wondrous poetry to the entire court at my banquet.
Yes, of course.
Until then, why don't you explore the palace? I shall give you my papal seal. Show this to any guard, any servant, and you shall be given free passage.
Oh, thank you.
Stephen was languishing in his own tiny cell, toying with the coin from the strange man in the farmhouse. He was startled by a sudden movement beyond the bars.
I've been looking for you.
Looking for me? Why? Who are you?
Shh, keep your voice down.
The stranger, looking furtively over her shoulder, produced a key and unlocked the door.
Quick, out you come. I'm Carla. I'm with Niccolo.
With who?
You carry his sigil. Come with me.
What? This coin? Niccolo, he's...
The architect of this whole plan, yes.
Look, I don't understand.
Oh, fine. I'll just lock you up again then, shall I?
No, I'll come with you.
I've brought you a disguise. Put it on and follow me.
Where are we going?
The palace kitchens.
Intrigued, Stephen quickly followed Carla out through the door, putting on the clothes as they went.
In Machiavelli's farmhouse kitchen, their meal was over.
Well, sir, it is time for your decision. Will you help me find my friends, or shall I travel to Florence without you?
I will aid you, Doctor, but I require something in return. For over a year I have been writing a small treatise, Advice for the Good Conduct of Principalities, a manual for good government.
And what has your magnum opus to do with me? Huh?
I am under house arrest. I need you to deliver my manuscript.
To the Duke? Oh, I'm not sure if I would
No,
be...
not the Duke. I have had ample opportunity to appraise him of my nostrums. No, his brother, the Pope, is in Florence for a few days only. If he were to read my treatise, I'm sure he would release me and return me to my rightful place as advisor to the Medicis. I merely ask you to put it into his hands.
Had you thought of posting it, sir?
It would simply be received by a courtier. And if I was such a courtier, I would ensure it never reached the Pope's hands for fear of it undermining my own advice.
Yes, I can see that, perhaps. But why do you think I could place it into his hands, then?
A man will find a way, if he wishes to save his friends. And you, Doctor, have an authority about you which some might find beguiling.
Oh, really? Perhaps you know more about me than I would like.
In the same way that you seem to know about me, before we had had even the slightest conversation. Or perhaps I imagine that, too. The wine has been freely flowing in my study today.
Then let us leave that matter as it is.
In return, I will give you directions to the Medici Palace and accompany you as far as I safely can. What do you say?
I'm not sure, sir, that it is a fair bargain, but it seems to be the only one I have on offer. Bring me your locus classicus, and we shall leave then. For the palace.
Now dressed in a simple tunic and apron, Stephen had been shown into the kitchens. A burly cook had given him an enormous pile of apples to peel and a blunt knife for the task. As he sat and peeled them, Carla crossed the kitchen to talk to him once more.
Your name is Stephen?
Yes, that's right. Stephen Taylor.
Keep peeling. Here, give me some to do as well. You don't want to attract suspicion. What has Niccolo told you?
Nothing. I don't know what's going on, I promise you.
That is his way. Very well. You know, of course, that we are ruled by a maniac.
Do I?
Giuliano wields the power of the Captain General like a child given a scimitar. He murders indiscriminately to satisfy his bloodlust. His brother knows this, but hopes a position of authority will teach him wisdom. How many more corpses must we endure before his schooling is complete? No. The only course open to us is to remove him permanently.
Murder?
Holy Mother, why has Niccolo picked this simpleton? Yes, we have to murder the faithless Captain General. One killing to prevent 100, 1,000...
Listen, sister. This knife is barely sharp enough to peel these apples. I don't think it's... But Carla produced a small bottle from under her tunic.
Not with a knife, with poison. At tomorrow's banquet, you will be the wine steward. You will have access to his goblet. 2 or 3 drops will rid us of this lunatic once and for all.
Oh, I'm sorry, Carla. I'm grateful to be out of that cell, but I'm not about to poison a man I've never even met. You want him dead, you poison him yourself.
Women are not permitted to serve in the banqueting hall. In any case, in order to fulfill my master's plan, I must be elsewhere when you strike. We must ensure that all of the Duke's forces fall at once.
I'm having nothing to do with this, Carla. Send me back to the cells if you want.
Oh, I can do better than that, Stephen Taylor, holder of the sigil of Machiavelli.
Machiavelli?
If you don't poison the Captain General's wine tomorrow, I'll tell him about your escape and produce this bottle as evidence of your plot to kill him. The Duke is paranoid. He'll have no hesitation in putting you to death. So you see, you really have no choice at all. Kill or be killed, Stephen Taylor. Which is it to be?
Vicky was unaware that Stephen had also been freed and had no idea of the doctor's whereabouts. But despite her anxiety, she could appreciate that the Medici Palace was a wondrous sight, full of paintings, statues and sculptures. As she explored, she eventually came to the library, where servants were hauling the TARDIS onto a plinth.
Nearly there. Easy, lads.
Careful, you fools. My brother will execute on sight any man who tarnishes his latest prize.
It's just a wooden box.
His Holiness the Pope's wooden box.
It is not his wooden box, it's the doctor's.
Prisoner! Guard! Caesar!
No, no, no! Let her alone!
Oh, make your minds up.
Brother, why do you interfere?
Brother, why do you persecute this innocent girl? I've questioned her myself. She's no threat to us.
She is part of it. I know she is. She was in his house.
Well, this is your house, so by the same logic, I must be on your side now.
She's got you there. Why don't you tell me what's really going on?
I told you of the conspiracy. The Ravelli family has set against us.
We are well protected, brother. Why do you still lunge at shadows?
In truth, Holy Father, the target of their ire is not you or our family, but me in particular. I fear for my own life.
What did you do?
He executed their eldest son as a show of force. It didn't work.
I'm not surprised.
One body was not enough. We must strike again and render them incapable of further injury.
Provoke them again? Are you serious?
My irreligious brother sees only one solution to all problems. It's long and shiny and ends in a sharp point.
You expect me to sit and wait for their forces to strike?
Did you say the, Ravelli family?
Indeed. Do you know them?
Oh, yes. My family, well, we know the Ravellis well. We see them quite frequently.
I thought you said you were a traveller, just passing through Florence.
I was travelling with my friend, back home, and then onward to... Look, I know the Ravellis, all right? They come to Targus a lot.
Well, brother, I do think this presents us with another option, does it not?
What do you mean?
I can go and see them on your behalf.
Exactly. Let us try a little diplomacy. I will write a letter for this child...
I'm not a child.
This person to take to the Ravellis. Coming from her, they will read it and they will listen. If she leaves immediately, she can be back by morning.
I should take Stephen, my friend, with me. He knows the Ravellis too, better than I do, in fact.
Oh, well, possibly.
Brother, he has not yet been interrogated.
But what if there's trouble with Stephen to protect me?
Oh, I'm sure you can look after yourself, child, a girl, a young woman.
Vicky.
Vicky, yes. I'm afraid you must stay here for now.
Oh. All right.
What will you tell them?
That you are inviting them to tomorrow's banquet as a show of peace. Vicky, if it is possible, return with them.
I'll do everything I can. Oh, Stephen, try and keep out of trouble till I get back with the doctor.
Machiavelli and the doctor rode a horse and cart slowly along a muddy track towards Florence.
Not long now, Doctor. Once we're within sight of the city walls, you can walk alone the rest of the way.
What if they search your farmhouse again and find you absent?
A calculated risk. They searched the farmhouse this morning.
I see. Thought it all out, haven't you?
I do my best to weigh probabilities, yes.
It seems to me that you have all you can wish for. Why try to claim power and influence for yourself by this foolish scheme?
Have you never been attracted by the thrill of turbulent times, Doctor?
Possibly. Possibly, my good man.
We are quite similar then, I think.
We are most certainly not.
Have you heard of the Duke of Valentinois?
Well, perhaps Oh, yes. Yes. The Duke of Valentinois, of course. You mean Borgia, Cesare Borgia, the very worst of them all. A bully and a tyrant. No doubt a close associate of yours, huh?
A tyrant on the face of it, I agree. I have catalogued with precision many cruel incidents. But on the other hand, the Duke's brutality restored order and peace to many provinces. Have you ever considered that good ends may sometimes justify brutish means?
And does this theory form part of your treatise? The one you wished me to place into the hands of the Pope?
Some of it, yes. You think this unwise?
We shall see. Now, what is this infallible pretext you claim will get me access to the palace?
Ah, Doctor. Here it is indeed fortunate that you met me, for I can tell you the one individual you should impersonate, guaranteed to win an audience with His Holiness.
In the courtyard of the Medici Palace, a horse had been saddled up, and Vicky was preparing to leave for the Villa Ravelli.
Is there no end to your talents? Poetry and politics and now horse riding? The people of Targus must be versatile indeed.
Saints preserve us.
I shall be back by midday at the latest, Holy Father.
Make sure that you are. Otherwise, I've got a whole new torture chamber that needs dedicating.
Enough, Giuliano. Guards, let young Hermes fly away.
Have you got a crush?
Of course not.
It did seem unlikely.
Sorry about this, Your Grace. Slight issue just come up in the incarceration department. Prisoner escaped. The young one with the hair.
I told you that neither of those two could be trusted. They were clearly in league. Now the boy has escaped, and the girl you've allowed to gallop away on one of the city's fastest horses.
Please don't shout.
From now on, Holy Father, perhaps you'll allow the Captain General of Florence to give the military orders in Florence.
All right. Have it your way.
Guards, find the prisoner and kill him on sight. And as for the girl, should she ever be so foolish as to set a foot in this palace again, bring her to me. I will deal with her personally.
Stephen, Carla, and the other kitchen workers had retired to the servants' quarters for the night. Look, Carla, if you want my help, you need to do a better job of explaining why.
If not for me, do it for Florence. You are a good man, Stephen Taylor. I can sense it.
Florence sounds like a bloody place. Bad things happen, but I'm not sure what help I can be.
You can help cut out that worm of a duke. His so-called Grace is one of the bloodiest men in the entire province.
And what has he done to you, specifically?
My family was butchered on his orders. He suspected them of plotting against the Medici.
Oh, I'm sorry. Why would he suspect that?
He had no evidence, but they were loyal to the previous regime. The Duke believes the best way to stop a former regime's revenge is to cut off their heads.
You have to admit that would be effective.
You need to sleep. Think upon it. We can decide what to do come the morning.
In his tiny bunk, Stephen tried his best to sleep. But all he could think of was Vicky, last seen with the palace guards, and the doctor, miles away in a dingy stone farmhouse.
On leaving the palace, Vicky had set off immediately for that very farmhouse, but it had been empty when she got there. Even its mysterious occupant, supposedly under house arrest, was nowhere to be seen. So, as she had no better plan, Vicky had ridden on to the Villa Ravelli to deliver the Pope's letter. If she couldn't be reunited with her fellow travellers, at least she could try to avoid further bloodshed. With only the moonlight guiding her, she began exploring the grounds. Hello? Anyone at home? Eventually, an old man shuffled into view from an outhouse, carrying an oil lamp to light his way.
Who's making that infernal racket?
I'm a friend of the Ravelli family, a family friend. It was only once the words were out of her mouth that she realized the man she was talking to might very well be a member of that same Ravelli family. Although it has been a while, they might not remember me. My name's
I've never
Vicky.
heard of you, and I've been looking after this place 20-odd years.
Look, I've come as an emissary of Pope Leo X. I must speak to Signor Ravelli at
You've a
once.
good pair of lungs, girl, but not that good, I'll warrant. A whole lot
do
of them
you mean?
shipped out months ago. Seems like you've had a wasted journey.
Yes, of course. How silly of me. I'll be going again. Sorry to have troubled
I'll go on then. I'll open up one of the guest rooms. You can stay the night there. But I never saw you, all right?
Oh, thank you.
Don't
thank
thank
you.
me. Thank your old friends, the Ravellis. It's their hospitality you'll be enjoying.
Do you believe me now? These threats against me are real. We have insurrectionists under this very roof.
The guards have searched every inch and found no sign of the other man. Get some sleep. In the morning, you'll feel calmer.
But we are under constant threat. It is the height of arrogant foolishness to pretend otherwise. I cannot countenance proceeding with tomorrow's celebrations. It is far too risky.
Your Grace?
What is it now?
It's another one asking for His Holiness. This is the third today.
What do they want? Confession or forgiveness?
Oh, it's not another indulgence, is it? Look, I wish you would tell them I'm not made of indulgences.
It's a merchant offering His Holiness here the first choice of his new cloths and textiles.
Oh, well then, send him in at once.
Right you are. Oi, Grandad, in here, now.
Your Holiness, apologies for the lateness of the hour. I am a provider of the finest cloths and textiles Florence or anywhere else has ever seen. I was summoned by His Grace to provide fresh cloaks and doublets for tomorrow's festivities.
Really? Well done, Captain General. Where are these lavish textiles?
My cart was attacked, sir. Yes, by bandits who took everything but the clothes I stand in.
I did not send for any textile merchant.
Someone else on the palace staff, then. Your dressmaker, perhaps? I had a letter with the palace seal, but alas, it too was taken from me.
By bandits.
Precisely so.
This man is a saboteur, an assassin.
Is he? Are you an assassin or a saboteur, my dear man?
Oh, hardly, Holy Father. I have no enemies across the entire land. All I have are satisfied customers.
Satisfied by your invisible textiles? Provided for the Pope with no clothes?
Oh, leave the poor man alone. Let us at least give him a bed for the night. We can determine who summoned him and why in the morning.
Do not blame me, brother, if before the first flames of sunrise you find this scrawny devil holding a knife across your throat.
Believe me, I shall not be thinking of you in that eventuality. What is your name, my good man?
I am known as the Doctor.
Well, Doctor, tell me, what do you make of the latest fashions of Pisa?
As the sun shone through the window of the Villa Ravelli, Vicky blearily opened her eyes and became suddenly aware that she was not alone.
Who are you? What do you want? The old man said I could sleep here.
I mean you no harm.
You? It's you. You were in that farmhouse when we first arrived.
Indeed. My name is Niccolo. I'm sorry I was unable to prevent your departure then, and sorry for the intrusion now. Adolfo sent word you were here. I have news of your friend.
My friend?
The doctor? He has gone to the palace to secure your freedom. I little expected you would be able to effect your own release. You certainly have proven a fine and swift negotiator with our Holy Father.
He seemed to like me well enough. I thought he was very charming. Certainly compared to his brother.
Yes, well, compared to his brother, maybe. As a sour plum is sweet compared to an unripe lemon.
What is any of this to you?
I see you have been sent by His Holiness to deal peaceably with the fractious Ravelli family. Or at least attempt to.
Yes, the Captain General was threatening horrible reprisals. I had to tell him I was friends with them to stop him killing more people. When he sent me out, I thought I might be able to find the doctor.
So, what will you do now? You will have noticed that the Captain General is not a man who trusts easily. What do you think will happen if you return saying you have been unable to deliver this message of peace?
You're right, yes. I'm probably better off staying where I am.
Perhaps I might suggest another course of action. I know Signor Ravelli quite well. Well enough to compose a letter in his style. And I'm sure that in the main house we can find wax and his seal. If you were to return with a letter agreeing to make peace, then I'm sure both of our fine rulers would be most pleased. And then you might have time to locate both your friends and make good your escape.
You'd be happy to do that for me?
It would be but a pleasure.
And what do you want in return?
Nothing whatever. This act of kindness costs me nothing.
Right. Okay. Do you mind leaving my bedroom then while I get dressed?
Machiavelli bowed deeply and backed out of the room. Vicky beamed and began getting herself ready.
Whilst being taken to his bedroom, the doctor had done his best to open the wrong doors and absent-mindedly walked down the wrong corridors. He tried everything he could to catch sight of his young companions, but without success. By the time the sun rose, the doctor had been awake for hours. Machiavelli's manuscript he decided to keep safe in his room, still considering what to do with it. As he descended the main staircase, the palace was full of life and activity.
Oh, goodness. What are to do, eh? What is all this in aid of, then?
Actually, Doctor, it's in aid of me. My first visit to Florence since becoming Pope.
My dear chap, how absolutely splendid.
Thank you very much. And I do hope we are able to recover your fabrics.
My what? Oh, my fabrics, yes. Yes, quite.
If they are as fine as you say, I shall no doubt purchase a significant quantity. But for now, let me show you something. Follow me into the library.
My goodness.
Quite a specimen, eh, Doctor? I'm still trying to establish its provenance. Greek, I assume, although it's hardly ancient.
May I ask, sir, where and how did you come across this specimen?
My brother's guards picked it up yesterday during a routine sweep of the area. What do you make of it? Valuable?
Oh, my dear sir, Holy Father, I hardly think so. No, if it were made of marble, then perhaps, but this is painted wood, nothing more. A handsome curio, undoubtedly, but valuable? Oh, no.
Aha, I saw your face, Doctor. Don't lie to me. You know what this is, do you not? Go on, tell me, what is it worth? Do you know who constructed it? I should love to meet its maker.
Oh, I was simply startled by its appearance, my dear man. I assure you I've never seen it before in my life. Do you know nothing of its creators? Was there anyone near it when it was discovered?
Yes, a man and a girl. We had them arrested, but we can't now be sure of their whereabouts.
A man and a girl? Oh, do tell me, please.
We found them in the house of Niccolo Machiavelli, a known malcontent loyal to the former republic. He should have been put to death long ago.
Oh? Because it's been half an hour since you last put someone to the sword?
Do you know this Machiavelli, Your Holiness?
Yes, my brother is right. He was a loyal servant to the former republic, but that doesn't mean he's a threat to us now.
Well, I tell you, the girl Vicky and the man Stephen were in league with Machiavelli. Releasing them with intelligence about the palace is the worst thing we could have done. She had no intention of taking your letter to the Ravelli family. You will never see her again, unless it be by miracle.
I didn't think you believed in those.
A young woman is at the palace gates, Your Grace. I believe it might be the one you wanted to know about.
Excellent. Then you know my command?
Only she's got letters from the Ravelli family. I thought you'd want to know.
What?
A miracle is upon us, dear brother. Show her into the council room. Doctor, please excuse us.
It's a trick! It's a trap! She means us both harm.
By God's light, brother, let us hear what she has to say.
But you don't understand.
The doctor could hardly catch his breath. Vicky was alive and well. Now he must find Stephen. I've thought about it, Carla. I've thought about this a lot. What you want me to do is murder. I can't help you. I'm sorry.
You value your morals so highly, do you?
I do, yes.
I admire you then. But don't think I won't have you arrested on the spot.
I'm not about to give you the chance. Stephen turned and ran through the kitchen, scattering serving maids and cooks in his wake.
Guards, seize him!
He was almost out of the kitchen when his way was blocked by two of Giuliano's men.
Here, what's going on?
Stephen attempted to dodge past them, but one of the guards managed to get a fist in his way and sent Stephen sprawling to the floor, knocking him completely out cold. In the distraction, Carla took out a vial of poison from under her garments and quietly poured the contents into the wine destined for the banquet.
Hey, it's him with the hair. Didn't we lock him up before?
He was threatening my life and babbling of insurrection.
Do I really need to lug him back to his cell? That'll be no good for my gout.
You could just tie him up here.
Good idea. You keep an eye on him. I'll go and tell his dukeness we've caught the blighter.
Stephen was lashed to a wooden chair, and Carla took a moment to whisper in his ear.
You have achieved nothing with your misplaced morals. Now everyone at the banquet will sup on poisoned wine. But as long as we rid ourselves of the Duke, no matter.
Vicky waited anxiously in front of the imposing marble desk in the Medici council room.
What are you doing here? Why did you come back?
I did as you asked me. Holy Father, I took your letter to the Ravelli family, and I have returned with their reply. What makes you think I wish you harm?
Your friend, the man Stephen, is no longer in his cell.
Stephen's escaped?
See? She rejoices in it!
Surely, brother, you want to know what the Ravellis had to say in reply?
Reply?
Yes. She has a letter from them in her hands. I recognize the seal.
Your Grace, the entire family, with great sorrow, loyalty to your... This is, excellent news. They are willing to talk. They regret that they cannot attend tonight's banquet, but they offer to share a goblet of wine with me in a few days after the papal visit is concluded.
Let me see. Well, this is most courteous and charming, especially for a family bent on revenge. Vicky, you have done Florence an excellent service.
Thank you, Your Holiness.
You shall accompany me to the banquet tonight and sit at my right hand. Your Grace, you can spare a lady-in-waiting and a parlour-maid to assist this young woman into more appropriate clothing.
I'm sure someone is available.
Escort her to her bedchamber. I want further words with Florence's Captain General.
For the next several hours, Vicky was visited by a procession of servants, maids, and ladies-in-waiting. Her hair was styled, she tried on countless dresses, and people tried to put foul substances on her face, until eventually it was agreed that she was presentable. By now, a substantial number of guests were arriving, and Vicky joined the throng. She did her best to make what she hoped was appropriate small talk, until, at last, she spotted a familiar face in the crowd.
Doctor?
Vicky, my dear child. Gracious, I should never have recognized you in this get-up. I assume then that you found favour in the court. Oh, my dear, I'm so relieved to see you. So relieved.
It's good to see you too, Doctor. This man Giuliano is a terrible despot. Can't we do something about him?
Oh, history will take its course, my dear. It's not our responsibility. No, we must find Stephen. Get in the TARDIS and be gone.
Oh, I haven't seen Stephen since the cells yesterday. I've ridden all the way to the farmhouse and back since then.
Have you, child? Goodness me, whatever for?
For you, Doctor, for you.
Eh?
You tried your best, Stephen Taylor, but I poisoned the whole jug. Even if the Duke is not first to drink, his guests will be clutching their bellies in agony, and that will be all the diversion we need.
You're a monster. You don't care who's hurt as long as you put the right people in charge. What happens when they decide they like power a little too much? Trust me, they'll soon realize the best way to keep it is by slaughtering a few more enemies.
You haven't lived here very long. You don't know what you're talking about.
I may not have lived here, but I've seen plenty. There's still time to stop you.
You're not going anywhere, except back to the cells and then to your death. When the first wine is poured, we shall have our moment.
The great banquet was just beginning. Tables upon tables were packed with the highest and mightiest of Florence. Vicky took her seat next to Pope Leo in pride of place. As Giuliano sat down, a guard marched up to him and bent down to whisper into his ear.
Oh, really? Oh, wonderful news.
What is it, brother?
The prisoner has been recaptured.
What? What did you say? Which prisoner?
Yes, I say, a prisoner.
Her friend and accomplice.
He's not my he's... Oh, look, is he all right?
For the moment. Until he's introduced to the finest machinery in my cellar.
Oh, he means his torture chamber. Some people favour fine wines. Brother prefers to toy with his latest mechanism.
Too true, brother. I am desperate to try out the Spanish scraper.
No, don't. Please don't.
Then there's the Rose of Anguish. Sounds pleasant, doesn't it? But once the pretty metal leaves are wound open, it reveals some rather sharp spikes.
Oh, no.
I would say, sir, that even such a humble merchant such as I finds your sense of humour a little strange.
Oh, you do you? You aging turnip.
Leave him alone. You may question the prisoner later, but for now, we should celebrate the return of the Medicis to Florence. You there, pour the wine.
Wine stewards appeared from the kitchen and began to pour.
My friends, I should like to propose a toast. To peace in Florence.
Peace in Florence! The dozens of people present all raised their goblets to their lips.
Stop!
Before anyone could drink, a man burst through the doors and pointed a bony finger at the doctor. It was Machiavelli.
Noblemen of Florence, Your Holiness, Captain General, don't touch a drop of that wine if you value your lives. It is poisoned. A strange old man has told fanciful stories in order to gain access, but all he wanted to do was bring about your deaths. Have him arrested and killed.
Doctor!
Yes, that man there.
What nonsense is this?
Guards! Lock the doors! Nobody leaves!
Stop! Noblemen of Florence, Your Holiness, Captain General, don't touch a drop of that wine if you value your lives. It is poisoned. A strange old man has told fanciful stories in order to gain access, but all he wanted to do was bring about your deaths. Have him arrested and killed.
Doctor!
Yes, that man there.
What nonsense is this?
Guards! Lock the doors! Nobody leaves!
It's an outrage! Take your hands off me!
I warned you! We should never have had this banquet at all. We are lucky to be alive.
This is an unproven accusation,
Captain
sir.
General, this is
You
no
poisoned
place
the
for a
wine
discussion of
I
this
have done
nature.
no
A
such
discussion
thing.
of this nature! We need immediate reprisals. I shall send a force of 100 men to the Villa Ravelli. They shall carry the head of this old man before them as a signal.
No, you can't!
This does not concern you. My lords! I regret to say that we must bring this evening's festivities to a premature close. You may retire or depart in your own time.
We should kill him now.
Captain General, as the Pontiff of Rome, I am taking control of this situation. Question my orders again, and I shall introduce you to the Rose of Anguish.
But... Yes, Your Holiness.
Guards, take both these men to the cells. I shall question them shortly.
This is intolerable.
I serve the Medici.
Doctor!
She is in league with him! I said so all along!
She is a girl, nothing more. We shall get to the bottom of this, make no mistake, but we shall not make wise decisions through rash actions. Vicky, I shall seek your counsel later.
But Your Holiness...
Later!
The doctor and Machiavelli, both restrained, faced each other across the cell. Despite his bonds, Machiavelli looked calm, almost serene.
Did you show His Holiness my manuscript, Doctor?
I did not.
I wondered if you would hold it back. Why keep your word if there is no advantage to keeping it, and no likelihood of the other party discovering your omission?
I have been somewhat preoccupied.
Did you read any of the document yourself?
I am familiar with your writings, sir.
Is that so? How is that?
I don't care to discuss my reading habits.
You know this accusation is without foundation. Whatever do you hope to gain by this confabulation?
Oh, but I can make it quite convincing, Doctor. And think what that will do to my standing in the Medici court. Your arrival, and that of your friends, has been a tremendous boon. My plan has become ever more subtle. Now the palace is teeming with suspicious characters. How much more believable is my story now?
At this, the Pope entered with his still fuming brother in tow.
This interrogation is a waste of time. Guard, bring the Rose of Anguish.
I thought it was in for repair. I could see if the Iron Maiden's free.
It is my time to waste, Captain General, and there will be no torture tonight.
Is it
Why
your
have
custom,
I been
sir,
imprisoned
to
like this, Your
incarcerate any
Holiness?
visitor to
I
your
am
palace?
a humble servant,
I am a simple
loyal
merchant.
to the Medici
I
cause,
know nothing
only
of any
on these
conspiracy
premises
except
because I
that
feared
this
for your
man
lives
is
at the
not
hands
to
of
be
this
trusted.
wily old...
Silence, both of you! Signor Machiavelli, you are an enemy of the Medici and have been placed under house arrest. Your very presence in this palace is evidence of your guilt.
It is true I broke the house arrest your family placed me under, but only because I had intelligence of vital importance to you. In order to mount this cowardly attack, your enemies needed people on the inside. People such as the doctor here, who could introduce a toxin into the wine whenever it pleased him.
Aye, sir. What reason would I have for poisoning your holiness's wine?
You are loyal to the Ravelli family, who have sworn vengeance against the Medici.
Arrant nonsense, sir. If there is a conspirator in our midst, then look no further than diplomat, civil servant, and when it pleases him, wine steward, Niccolo Machiavelli.
If I had meant these people harm, I surely would have approached by stealth, not boldly walked through the front door announcing myself. Holy Father, do you honestly believe this man's story of being a textile merchant beset by bandits? Truly, it is this doctor who has no clothes.
You only know that story, sir, because you suggested to me that I use it to gain admission to the palace.
You admit the falsehood, then? Holy Father, Captain General, the doctor is condemned out of his own mouth.
This is futile. While we stand here debating, insurrectionist forces mass. We must ride and slay our enemies before it is too late.
What insurrectionist forces?
How can you say that? You were seconds from death. If it were not for this man's intervention...
Precisely, Holy Father. If I had meant you harm, all I had to do was let you drink that tainted wine. You should be suffering most terribly by now if that had come to pass.
If the wine were truly poison, eh?
It assuredly was poison.
Well, not by my hand. I saw no one else tamper with the jug, and since you permitted nobody to drink it, nobody is suffering from its effects. So, this poison you speak of is just another fantasy. Is that not so?
What say you to that, Niccolo Machiavelli?
Well, I know of no way to test for the presence of poison which does not require potentially sacrificing a live subject, Your Holiness.
Precisely. Bring me the jug in question. I shall drink of it. Then you shall know I put no poison there.
An excellent suggestion. You fetch the jug of wine nearest my chair.
Right you are, Holy Father.
Holiness, no. This is a trick on the old man's part. I can't allow this charade to continue.
A trick? What do you imagine he's going to do? Lull us into a false sense of security by committing suicide in front of us?
He is not to be trusted.
I know how to decide this. I shall take the wine to my apothecary, who will speedily determine its contents.
Oh, you have your own apothecary in mind, do you? Far better, surely, that I drink the wine myself. What foolish assassin would allow himself to be murdered by his own instrument of death, eh? This way, if I am guilty, I shall carry out my own sentence. If I am innocent, however, I trust all charges will be dropped.
All charges will be dropped in either case, Doctor.
Down in the palace kitchen, Carla was listening eagerly for signs of the promised overthrow of the Medici she so despised. Stephen, was still struggling with his bonds.
Soon the palace will be overrun by insurrectionist forces. Once the Duke is slain, there will be chaos and we shall seize control.
Doesn't sound like chaos to me, sister. Are you sure nothing's gone wrong with your well-orchestrated plans?
I can't understand it. Our forces should be attacking by now.
Maybe no one was thirsty. But I'm not sitting here any longer to find out. During their conversation, Stephen had managed to free himself.
You take one step outside that door and I'll summon the guards.
I'll take my chances with that lot.
Where are you going?
To get that wine. I might still be in time. Down in the cells, the guard captain had finally returned with the wine. The Pope carefully passed the jug over to the doctor, who raised it carefully to his lips. A deathly hush fell upon the cell as the doctor tilted the jug a little further. A little further.
All right, Doctor. Your point is made. I am satisfied at least that you did not poison the wine, or you would surely not take such a foolish risk. But I can't dismiss this man's allegations either. We shall give a little to a dog, and if it falls ill, we can proceed to the apothecary. Does that satisfy you, Captain General?
I cannot spare a valuable guard dog.
I'm sure we could rustle up a mangy old mutt for you, if it'd help, Your Grace.
Be quiet, idiot. The villa of my apothecary is close by. I shall take it to him immediately.
But I am perfectly happy to drink the wine, Holy Father.
Here, you can't go in there!
Barreling through the cell door came a frantic Stephen, who lunged at the doctor, sending the jug tumbling to the floor, spilling its contents. Doctor, you mustn't! It's poison!
The other man! Seize him!
Oh, my boy! What have you done? I had to, Doctor. I had to. They said the wine had been taken to the cells, and
I think we have found our traitor, eh, brother? A clear attempt to dispose of the evidence.
Perhaps.
They are colluding together. Kill them both now.
An excellent suggestion.
There is much about this evening I have yet to understand, and chief among that is your role in events.
Holy Father, my role is only that of a loyal subject.
Be quiet. Guards, I want all three of these men kept here until morning, and keep a permanent watch on the cell door. I will decide their fate in the morning. In the meantime, escort our guests out and secure the palace.
Yes, Holy Father.
Oh, and search them thoroughly. Bring anything you find on them to the council room for my inspection. Come, Giuliano.
You take too many risks, Signor Machiavelli. Our compact is at an end.
The remaining guard began searching all three men. Machiavelli's clothing yielded very little, only a small change purse with a few florins in it. Stephen was carrying nothing at all, but in the doctor's pockets they found all manner of oddments. A Chinese finger puzzle, a waiter's friend, a fountain pen, and the TARDIS key.
This is an intolerable intrusion, sir.
You get your hands off me, or I'll take a finger while I'm about it.
That key is of no consequence, no possible value at all.
Easy, Doctor. Don't give him too many ideas.
Hand it over.
Don't forget to ask for a receipt, Doctor.
An excellent suggestion. My man, can I sign for these items somewhere?
Not if you like your hands at the end of your wrists, you can't.
Don't let him get to you, Doctor. With their possessions in his clutches and all three prisoners restrained, the guard captain left them to it.
Holy Father!
Vicky, why are you still awake? There is nothing more to be done tonight.
Is it true? Were we being served poisoned wine?
It's impossible to say. Your young friend destroyed the evidence.
Stephen? Then he's
well, for now. I have him in the cells with this doctor, or whoever he is.
And that man who warned us. He was at the farmhouse where we were first arrested.
Machiavelli? Oh, yes.
Machiavelli?
I thought you didn't know him.
I know the name.
I've never trusted him. If we'd put him to death instead of bothering to keep him under house arrest, it might have saved a lot of manpower.
So, they're all locked up.
Yes, all except you. The doctor and Stephen, is it? They obviously know each other, and since you and Stephen were found together, obviously you know him too.
Am I off to the cells as well, then?
If my brother ever deduces that you are a trio, then be sure you will be. But I have my own selfish reasons for keeping you at liberty.
What reasons are those?
Vicky, you've seen how my brother behaves. He isn't a fit ruler of Florence or anywhere else, but there's no way I can remove him now. It would cause a family civil war. I must continue to Bologna and create an atmosphere of calm and accord. The idea of attacking or bringing down the Medici must seem absurd.
That's all very well and good, but you still haven't said what it's got to do with me.
Your wise counsel would be much appreciated. I plan to leave in the morning. Say you will come with me.
Holy Father.
Please, call me Giovanni. Holy Father is what my servants call me. Pope Leo is what the cardinals call me. Giovanni is what my family call me.
Giovanni, I can't. I have to stay with my friends.
Vicky. As leader of the church, I am forbidden to marry, but that does not mean that I may not enjoy female company.
Is that, encouraged?
Maybe not encouraged, but it's certainly expected that I will take a consort, and so far, I've failed to do so.
Failed?
It would do no harm to my, public image to be seen arm in arm with a fair lady such as yourself.
Because you are expected to enjoy female company?
Exactly.
But, as it happens, you don't enjoy female company?
Well, controlling an empire leaves very little time for such things.
Can I think about it?
Of course, my dear. But I ride at sunrise. Until then, or until my brother decides otherwise, you have the run of the palace. Goodbye.
Not quite the life I'd dreamed of growing up. But there must be some way I can help the doctor and Stephen.
So, you're Niccolo Machiavelli, are you?
At your service, sir.
Oh, you know the name then, do you, my boy?
Well, of course I do. It's a byword for...
Ah, yes. It may well be, but not yet, eh?
What's that?
You gave me that coin, didn't you, so that your friend in the kitchen would think I was part of your plan?
What plan is this? What coin?
I'm still trying to work it out, Doctor. When we were in his farmhouse, he gave me a coin with his monogram on it. Later, this Carla woman saw me holding it and broke me out.
Standing orders regarding anyone holding my sigil.
She recognized me as a fellow conspirator, both of us working for Mr. Machiavelli here. She wanted me to poison the wine. I refused, so she poisoned the whole jug. She would have killed everyone, you and Vicky included.
Yeah, depending on how fast-acting the poison was and how concentrated the dose, yes.
How can you be so calm about it, Doctor?
Because it was this same man, Niccolo Machiavelli, who stopped us from drinking it, was it not, sir?
You're quite welcome, Doctor.
But why, I wonder? Why go to all that effort to introduce a toxin and then ensure nobody drinks it?
Well, Carla, she hates the Medici, Doctor, the whole family. She was telling me horrible stories about what they've done, who they've killed.
Yes, poor girl.
She must have been very easy to manipulate.
Perhaps. Perhaps not.
I still don't understand. If you wanted revenge on the people who put you under house arrest, then you could just have let Carla kill them for you.
But he doesn't want revenge, does he? He wants power. Power and influence. He has been working on a most interesting treatise on the subject.
My manuscript. Doctor, do you still have it?
Oh, it's quite safe, I assure you, but if I die here, it may never see the light of day again.
I still don't get it.
Some years ago, Machiavelli here was a very influential man in the Florentine Republic. But when the Medici came to power, he lost his position, and he's been scheming to get it back ever since. By appearing to cleverly intercept an attempt on the life of a prominent Medici, Machiavelli establishes himself as the only man in Florence who can keep them safe. Is that about right, sir?
Your logic is improving, Doctor.
But then why poison the wine at all? Why include Carla in your plans?
There can be no crime without a criminal. There would have been damning evidence, and Carla, proud of her attempt, would no doubt have admitted everything. And had you done as I asked, the Pope would read my manuscript and possibly get me a position of even greater power.
But why try to frame the doctor?
Oh, I expect that was just tying up loose ends, eh? More strangers crawling around the palace, not telling the truth about their identities. Well, that makes tales of conspiracy and deceit much more credible, doesn't it? But better make sure those strangers face the executioner before they can uncover the true plot, eh?
Very good. Very good indeed.
Right. Well, any ideas, Doctor?
Ideas?
For how we get out of here, find the you-know-what and escape.
Well, for now I propose we do nothing except wait. I do wish I'd kept hold of that key. The moment we are freed, it's vital we reacquire it.
But you just expect us to sit here and wait for that to happen?
Well, we do have one extra factor working in our favour, do we not?
Vicky? Of course. Oh, come on, girl.
Yes, indeed. Since she has the freedom of the palace, I am sure she will make it down here before much longer.
I got here as soon as I could.
See? I told you, my boy. I told you. Oh, well done, my dear. Well done.
Can you get us out of here?
I don't think so. The Pope's told the guards I can go where I like, but I don't think they'll give me the keys to your cell, even if I ask nicely.
Oh, Vicky, my child, your friend, the Pope.
He's not really my friend, Doctor.
He has the key, the TARDIS key. Can you help us recover it?
I don't know. I can try. Is Machiavelli in there with you?
For the moment.
Right. Well, I want words with you when we're next in the same room.
I can hardly wait.
Try not to attract too much attention, my girl.
I feel so much better just hearing your voices again.
I know, Vicky, but you don't want to lose your privileges by being caught talking to dangerous prisoners like us. Get out of here. Find the key.
Okay, I'm going. I'll see you soon, Doctor.
Well, brother, it is surely time for you to take my advice. There has been poison and plots abroad. The Ravelli forces are massing, and Medici rule is once again under threat. Let me ride out to purge and plunder our enemies. In the name of our magnificent father.
I must travel soon to Bologna. The King of France demands my presence. Since you will have to continue rule here without me, let me appoint you a cardinal.
Not this again.
It will give you much more authority, and once you have successfully concluded this matter, you can devote yourself to ecclesiastical matters. Show your faith in the Lord.
I will serve our Lord in heaven, should there be one, which sometimes I doubt.
Should there be one? What do you wish to do, then, doubting brother?
I propose to issue a proclamation in your name that states a plot has been discovered against our family. I will call for the deaths of House Ravelli and all their suspected associates.
Oh, if it will keep you happy.
Which will include the prisoners in the dungeon tonight.
I would prefer not to do all that in our name. But as you say, I have other matters to attend to.
Then I shall leave you to attend upon these other matters.
Vicky searched the palace desperately. She eventually came across the kitchens. It was late at night and all was quiet, save for a small figure she discovered sobbing quietly. Hey,
There's no need to cry. What on earth is the matter?
I'm not crying. Who are you, anyway?
I'm Vicky.
Oh, you're the talk of the court, you are. Every circus has its freaks. I gather you're the bearded lady.
What do you mean by that?
Every pope needs a consort. And this pope especially needs a consort, given the rumours.
But I'm not his consort.
Have it your way. And at least you can be sure that he won't. Not with you, anyway.
Who are you? Why are you crying?
My name is Carla. You must have been in the banqueting hall this evening.
I was, yes.
And you saw Machiavelli?
Yes. A man who acted most strangely.
He does tend to do that.
What do you know of him?
I am in love with him.
With Machiavelli? That funny-looking creature?
That devious, manipulative, clever, but profound, intelligent and extraordinary, funny-looking creature, yes.
I see. Well, then we both have friends locked up here. Locked up together, in fact. You're Machiavelli and my friends, the Doctor and Stephen.
Oh, you're Stephen's friend, are you? Wait, you carry His Holiness's seal?
Yes, until his brother takes it off me, at least.
So you can go where you will? You can escort me down to the cells and I won't be arrested?
I suppose. But what good will that do us?
I have keys to those cells. That's how I got your friend out in the first place. If you escort me down there, I can free all of them.
That won't get us very far, I'm afraid. We've lost the key to our stagecoach. There is almost no point in escaping without it, really. The Pope will have it by now.
So, if I were to promise you that I can retrieve this key, will you help me free Niccolo and your two friends? A key for a key? What do you say?
Yes, okay. But how are you going to get our key away from the Pope?
Just get me close to him.
Vicky quickly discovered the Pope in his stateroom, busily preparing to leave for Bologna.
Vicky, there you are. I wondered where you'd got to.
Holy Father, have you met Carla?
And who, pray tell, is Carla?
I am one of the kitchen maids in the palace, Your Holiness.
My dear, I'm the apostolic descendant of St. Peter and keeper of the worldwide Catholic faith. So I'm afraid I've been a little too busy to acquaint myself with all the kitchen staff in every palace in Christendom. I hope that purgatory doesn't beckon.
Holy Father, I have a confession. Will you hear my confession?
I'm a little busy. Would it take long? You look as if you might have quite a lot to confess.
I think you should hear Carla's confession, Holy Father.
Why? Is it important?
I don't know. She wouldn't tell me. But she seemed most insistent.
Oh, as long as it's terribly quick. Unless you prefer to buy a quick indulgence?
I have no money. Not even half a florin.
Yes, that's what they all say. Vicky, leave us a moment, will you?
Holy Father, I must confess that I am in love with you. Hold me.
I beg your pardon.
I understand that you need a consort. Let me be your consort. I can console you and keep you and service all your bodily needs every single night.
That really will not be necessary, young lady. Guards! Guards!
No, oh, no.
What is the meaning of this? This is an assault, I tell you.
Your Holiness, have mercy. I did not realize that Carla had such feelings for you. But then again, how could she not?
What? What do you mean?
How could she not have feelings for you? The luster of your intellect, those piercing eyes.
Wear an eyeglass, child.
Yes, but through that eyeglass, the eyes do so pierce. And your wit and charm.
I'm so sorry, my lord. I was overcome by your presence.
We ask for forgiveness, Your Holiness.
Well, I suppose my presence can be quite overpowering. Forgiveness is granted. But never touch me again.
Yes, Your Holiness. I am so sorry.
I shall leave you to collect yourself. Come!
The Pope and his startled entourage swept out, leaving Carla crumpled and weeping on the floor. Vicky reached down to comfort her. Carla slowly stood up and started to beam. she had something in her hand. It was the TARDIS key.
You did it! Oh, Carla, thank you so much. How can I ever repay you? Can I have it?
Of course you can have it. Just not yet.
But we agreed.
When my Niccolo is free, you shall have your key. Come, we haven't much time.
Oh, no, they've put a guard on the cells now.
Well, that won't cause you trouble, will it?
Right. Ladies, can I help you? If you need the kitchens, you need to go back to the last fork and take a right instead of a left. Keep the screams on your left. That's the torture chamber, and you can't go too far wrong.
Signor, my friend here carries the seal of His Holiness. You must let us pass unmolested.
And I insist that we not be followed.
That's a bit tricky, really, because we've not been doing at all well with keeping the prisoners in the cells of late. Every time one escapes, I have to write a report and probably face torture and death myself.
This seal gives me the right to issue orders on behalf of the Holy Father himself.
Does it?
Yes. Probably.
If he finds out you've disobeyed his orders, given via Signora Vicky here, you'll...
Face torture and death?
Far worse torture, and an even slower death.
And have to write an even longer report.
Oh, go on then. I'm thinking of quitting anyway. It's been months since I've seen me old mum, and she's not at all well.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, get off me! Don't make me change my mind.
Sorry, I just got a bit excited.
I'm sure you did. Just don't do it again. In you go.
Doctor? Stephen?
Oh, my child, Vicky!
Niccolo, are you there?
Which key is it?
Oh, give me a moment. Got it.
I'm afraid Signor Machiavelli has not been coping well with his imprisonment. Let me help you get him up.
Easy, Niccolo, my love. I am here.
Carla, what are you doing?
Oh, I can't tell you how happy I am to see you all safe. I did warn you to be careful, didn't I?
Warn us? You said this era was a wonderful vintage to taste and savour.
Thank you, Carla. Thank you for releasing us.
Don't thank me yet, Stephen Taylor.
Stephen! Carla shoved Stephen and sent him flying. As the doctor and Vicky ran to him, Carla almost dragged Machiavelli out of the cell. She slammed the door and turned the key. Carla!
I'm sorry, Vicky. Like everyone else in Florence, you're on your own.
Carla and Machiavelli disappeared down the corridor. Oh, that's just brilliant. Trapped again. And with Vicky in here with us, we've no possible means of escape. Oh, that's just brilliant. Trapped again. And with Vicky in here with us, we've no possible means of escape.
Well, I wouldn't go that far.
Eh? What are you talking about, Vicky? We're as trapped as we've ever been.
We're not. I've got these keys.
Where did you get those, child?
I didn't know if I could trust Carla, so when I saw the guard at the door, I thought, better safe than sorry. I gave him a big hug and grabbed the keys off his belt.
Oh, well done. Give them here. Stephen began fiddling with the heavy lock. After a few seconds, the door swung open.
There you go. We're free.
Vicky, we're in the subterranean cells of a 16th century medieval gangster with no access to the TARDIS. It's not exactly what I'd call free.
Well, it's better than it was, isn't it?
It most certainly is. However, the hardest job is still ahead of us.
Do you have a plan, Doctor?
I certainly do, but it won't be easy.
It never is.
Now listen carefully. Our first order of business is the TARDIS.
It's in the library, Doctor. I've seen it.
Yes, I've seen it too, child, but we won't get within 20 yards of it without being recaptured. It's too exposed.
And we still don't have the key, do we?
No. But I know where it is. Carla has it.
Oh, she and that toad Machiavelli will be halfway outside the palace by now.
Oh, no, I don't think so. No, I don't think so at all.
The Doctor's right, Stephen. No one's getting in or out of here tonight. Except by TARDIS.
Yes, indeed. Now, Vicky, do you think you can bring His Holiness the Pope to the library in about half an hour's time?
Yes, I think so. I can still go where I like as the Pope's, charge.
Good. Yes. Excellent. But where are you going, Doctor? Well, first of all, I need to retrieve Machiavelli's manuscript. I concealed it in my room. With that, I believe we will be able to bargain for the return of the TARDIS key.
Well, I'm coming with you.
If you insist. Keep you out of trouble, eh? Vicky, go find the Pope.
I will.
In the council chamber, Giuliano was making plans with his guard captain.
It will be a wave of reprisals such as the world has never seen. The streets of Florence will run scarlet with blood.
Sounds like a big job, Your Grace.
Any man who speaks ill of the Medici will find his tongue ripped from his traitorous mouth and fed to my dogs. They will howl for mercy, but with no tongue, how can we hope to understand their pathetic cries?
It would be difficult.
The Doria family shall be the first to perish. Then the Urbinos and everyone loyal to them. Next we shall strike at those Pozzolo pigs, whose father I shall torture until he begs permission to lick my boots. Are you writing this down?
Yeah, of course I am, yes. Doria family first, was it?
No, I have another name I wish to put first. That of Niccolo Machiavelli.
Oh, yeah, about him. He may not still be in his cell.
Oh, he won't have gone far. I'm sure of that.
As the Doctor and Stephen crept along the narrow corridors of the Medici Palace, they saw very few guards. Most were guarding the exits. They drew closer to the Doctor's former bedchamber, and the old man gestured urgently to Stephen.
Hey, wait, stay hidden.
What is it?
Shh! It has to be here. I know he brought it to the palace, so he must have hidden it here.
Niccolo, my love, let us flee. You can write another manuscript.
Write another? That was my life's work.
Shh, Niccolo. We must make it to the servants' quarters. We can hide there until morning.
Oh, you pathetic wretch. It would take me years to recreate my masterpiece. But another simpering young woman like you I could obtain in any tavern. Probably for less than a florin.
What? What are you saying? I love you.
Oh, you loved the story I told you. And that was the reason for its telling. But the story is over. Hide wherever you please. I intend to survive. Farewell, Carla.
And with that, Machiavelli darted off into the depths of the palace, while Carla continued in the other direction. The Doctor chuckled to himself as he and Stephen emerged from their hiding place.
Now, my boy, we shall see who is the superior intellect, eh?
What do you mean?
Well, Machiavelli there is quite right. I have hidden his manuscript, but know where he will ever find it. Come. Oh, goodness. What a mess they've made in here, eh? But The floorboards, you will notice, are very much intact. This one, though, is a little loose, is it not? I simply have to place my finger in this knothole and lever it up to reveal...
absolutely nothing.
What? Impossible! I placed it there just a few hours ago.
Well, it isn't there now, Doctor.
No, it isn't. And Machiavelli doesn't have it. So who does?
I wonder if Carla knows more than she's letting on.
Yes, my boy. Let's see if we can catch up with her.
Vicky had quickly determined that the Pope was readying to leave tonight, so she raced to the main gate where his carriage was being prepared.
Giovanni,
I think we'll go back to Holy Father, if you don't mind.
I thought you weren't leaving till morning.
I thought it best if I just slipped away.
I shall miss you.
And I shall miss you too, Vicky. But clearly this was not meant to be.
What will happen to my friends?
I'm afraid the Captain General's mind is made up. He will have them put to death. I don't think I can stop him.
But they've done nothing wrong.
Are you sure? There was something very peculiar going on at dinner. Your friend Stephen was convinced we were in danger, and Machiavelli was right. The doctor offering to drink the wine himself could have been a bluff.
But with no trial, no opportunity to defend themselves.
I know, my dear, but try not to make a fuss. And you at least can go on to live a happy life, here or wherever you choose. Perhaps back in beautiful Target.
But Stephen, the doctor...
Yes, I shall be sad not to see the doctor again. A fascinating fellow. And that Greek artifact of his, most remarkable. I shall send for it on my return to Rome. I already know where I shall put it. Pride of place in the Basilica. Once we can afford to finish it.
Don't you know what it is, Holy Father?
What do you mean?
That artifact has secrets you cannot imagine. Secrets I am prepared to tell you.
Secrets?
That artifact, properly used, could make you the most powerful man in Europe.
The palace kitchens were quiet, having shut down until the next day. But oddly, when the doctor and Stephen crept in, they found Carla busily preparing something, her eyes red with tears. Carla!
Leave me alone. This does not concern you.
Carla, what are you doing? Have you been crying?
So, Signor Machiavelli has abandoned you to your fate, has he? I'm very sorry, my dear.
It's none of your business.
He was using you, Carla. If his plan had worked, you'd have been arrested and killed.
I would have been happy to die for the cause.
And, what are you up to now, eh?
The doctor examined the ingredients she was combining.
I say, I should think someone ingesting that might have a pretty nasty time.
Are you trying to commit suicide?
Do you think so little of me? This is for Niccolo. I am no fighter, but he taught me how a woman can kill. With poison.
Oh dear, my child. I very much doubt this concoction of yours would make him any more than slightly uncomfortable, and that's if you could persuade him to drink it. No, you couldn't possibly hope to do away with him like this.
Then I have nothing.
Actually, Carla, I believe you do have something. Something I want very badly.
Yes, I have your key, Doctor. What will you give me for it?
It's our key. Give it back.
These are the ingredients I have to work with, Doctor. You are a man of physic, are you not? Maybe you could make me something to avenge myself on my false love.
Well, now, let me see. Doctor, you can't. You wish to remain here forever, do you? Look, I'll get the key off her.
You take one more step towards me, Stephen Taylor, and I will go running to the nearest guard.
Now, what have we here? Bay leaf and juniper berries, unless I'm much mistaken. We can expose Machiavelli to the Pope. We can have him arrested for crimes against the Medici. You don't have to murder him.
I will only be satisfied when he is dead.
Doctor?
But the doctor was already busily at work, grinding seeds and pulping berries.
Unhand me! Unhand me!
What is the meaning of this?
The guards threw Machiavelli roughly to the floor at Giuliano's feet.
Your Grace, is that... Do you have my...
Your life's work? Niccolo Machiavelli? Why, yes, I do. It makes for fascinating reading, I must say.
I am so glad you approve. Do you think that I could...
Oh, you want it back? Surely you can't intend to publish it. The advice herein is most useful, but far less so if it is widely known. Anyone who read this document and hoped to put its principles into action would surely have to destroy it immediately.
Your Grace, no!
You order me. You, the traitor, the criminal. You order me, the Duke of Nemours, Captain General of Florence.
No, I beg you, Your Grace, I thought we had an agreement. I only hoped to serve you.
As I suspected.
The doctor strode boldly into the council chamber.
Guards! Seize him!
Oh, if you must.
What do you want, Doctor? Or do you just hope to hasten your death?
Well, Your Grace, I think you and your brother need to have a little chat. Will you accompany me to the library and bring Signor Machiavelli too?
In the palace library, the TARDIS was a splendid sight, illuminated by the fire crackling in the grate.
Even Michelangelo would have difficulty matching the lines to the form. And as for that colour, I have such a penchant for blue. So fetching.
It is much more than a mere piece of art.
So you keep saying, but I've yet to see or hear what exactly you mean by these grand claims. Vicky, is this your doing?
Holy Father, let me explain.
I thought you had left, brother dear.
Very shortly. I see the doctor is no longer in his cell, and Signor Machiavelli is also at liberty.
Hardly at liberty, Your Holiness.
You said you could explain yourself, Doctor. Start talking.
Your Holiness, there have been many strange goings-on here, but a great deal of intrigue can be explained by the insight that Machiavelli and your brother have been working together from the start.
It is a lie!
Guards, kill the old man.
Belay that order. I am in charge here.
I am the Captain General of Florence, and I am in command.
I am the most powerful man in Europe. Guards, stand aside.
Sorry, boss. He's got a point there.
This is your great work, is it, Signor Machiavelli?
It is nothing, Your Holiness. Just some idle notions I was fooling around with.
Is that right, Signor Machiavelli?
The Pope held the manuscript over the fire.
No!
Aha, now we're getting somewhere.
Indeed. And it occurs to me that there's one question no one has asked.
What question is that?
Why, where are these famous Ravellis, of course?
Oh, this is a distraction, a trick.
What do you mean, Doctor?
Almost all I've heard since we arrived here is Ravelli this, Ravelli that. Plotting here, conniving there. But where are they? Certainly not in the palace.
And when I visited their villa, it looked like it had been uninhabited for months. The Ravellis seemed to be a family of ghosts.
A very good point. Perhaps Signor Machiavelli can provide us all with an answer.
No, say nothing. He knows nothing.
Silence, brother.
These traitors speak false, Your Holiness. Did not this young woman bring back a letter from those same Ravellis only this morning?
About that, Your Holiness.
Were you lying then, Vicky? Or are you lying now?
A letter, my girl? What letter?
Written by... Wait. Your Holiness, do you still have the letter I gave you?
Why, yes. It's right here.
See anything you recognize?
Holding Machiavelli's manuscript in one hand and the letter in the other, his eyes flicked back and forth across the two documents.
Niccolo Machiavelli, how do you account for the fact that Signor Ravelli appears to share your handwriting?
All right. I'll tell you the truth.
Silence, fool! Guard, kill this man, now! I order you as Captain General.
We've been over this, haven't we?
Indeed, we have. If the Captain General speaks again, put out his eyes.
What, really?
Yes, really. Here, Doctor, hold this for me. Just by the fire there. Now, you, Signor. Speak before the Doctor destroys your years of scribbling.
I grow tired of waiting. For all we know, the Doctor and Vicky are both dead by now.
You may be used to your friends lying to you and letting you down, but the Doctor isn't like that.
Oh, no? You believe he will tell the truth to Niccolo about what we have prepared?
Oh, that's different.
Is it? Justify it however you like, Stephen. But as far as I can see, your Doctor is no better than my Niccolo.
Then be grateful he's on your side.
We should go. Do you not want to use your precious key as soon as possible?
2 more minutes. Stick to the plan.
It has been 10 minutes already. I do not trust that dial upon your wrist.
We go when I say so, not a moment before.
I offered my services to the Captain General last spring. He complained that his brother had made him ruler of Florence and then continually stayed his hand, making it impossible for him to govern effectively.
But you had a suggestion. An attempt on the life of the most important Medici in Florence would provide all the justification he needed. I'm sure you were delighted when you learned that the Holy Father would be making a visit, and the attempt could then be on his life.
By God's light, I can scarcely believe what I'm hearing. You have been fabricating enemies where none exist. How can you expect to live in peaceful times if you continue to rule by fear and vengeance?
How can you expect to live at all when the populace sees how weak you have become? Do you not forget that we took this state by force? Many still live here who would gladly take our heads for it.
So your solution is to execute every man alive who has not sworn personal fealty to you, and half those who have, in case they start getting ideas?
You see, Holy Father, Machiavelli would demonstrate how useful he could be in protecting you from your enemies, and you would then give your brother a free hand to slaughter as many Florentines as he had the appetite for.
Quite ingenious, was it not?
It was even more ingenious than that, Doctor.
What are you prattling on about now?
Because my real plan was not to put Florence under tyranny, but deliver it true and lasting freedom.
I don't understand.
Would I really have been so foolish to write that letter in my own handwriting if I didn't mean it to be discovered? Holy Father, through my efforts you can surely now see what this man is and remove him from office. I do not require any thanks.
You liar!
Double-crosser! Triple-crosser! Quadruple-crosser!
Yes, we get the point.
You are saying that when your elaborate plan failed completely, that was part of an even more elaborate plan? What nonsense!
Yes. No, I don't mean... Yes, that's it, entirely. I am Niccolo Machiavelli. I planned everything. It was all my design. Mine.
False lover! Lying dog!
Carla!
You told me we would see the Pope die tonight. You told me it was only because the Doctor interfered that he was allowed to live.
Restrain this young woman.
Stephen, come in.
What is the meaning of this?
Guard, would you mind pointing a pikestaff at my young friend here? I'm sure he doesn't want to feel left out. No, I'm all right as I am. Thank you, Doctor.
You can have mine if you want.
I throw myself on the mercy of the Church.
You hear his words, brother? You hear his hypocrisy?
That does not justify you bringing death to my dinner table.
There was no poison. No one would drink the wine, so there was no need to take such a foolish risk.
You can't expect us to believe that.
Is that true, Niccolo?
I swear to you, Carla, the vial I gave you did contain a most deadly poison. Upon my honor.
Is that so?
I swear to you, brother, I would never have permitted this plan to have put you in any danger.
Liar!
Doctor, can you resolve this puzzle for us?
The Doctor? How could he know?
Well, Your Holiness, down in the kitchens I happened to find the vial which Machiavelli gave Carla here, and we put the last few drops into this wine. Here you are, Doctor. Now, I wonder if either of these two gentlemen would care to drink from it. Eh?
Well, brother, if you are certain your false conspirator provided only false poison, then go ahead and drink.
Your Holiness.
He promised me he would not put the Holy Pontiff in harm's way. If he is true to his word, he must know that the wine is safe to drink. Let him take the first sip. If he survives, I will take the second as a show of loyalty to you, my brother.
Doctor, you can't let...
It's out of my hands now, Vicky.
You, Niccolo Machiavelli, drink, or this guard will split open your nostrils.
With trembling hands, Machiavelli lifted the goblet, and all watched attentively as he tilted, opened his mouth, and swallowed. He set the goblet down, and for a moment there was silence.
There. I trust you are satisfied now, Holy Father?
You foul fiend! You untrue lover!
Carla, my love, I...
Quite suddenly, all the colour drained from his already pale face. Veins began to stand out on his neck. He clutched at his mouth, which started to froth. He fell to the floor, writhing in agony.
Niccolo!
Brother, you will have your head.
No, get away from him! Get away from him!
Kill them all!
Doctor, Captain General!
The ship!
Stephen bolted towards the TARDIS in the centre of the room. Two guards attempted to stop him, but collided with each other. The Doctor nimbly dodged around them and made his way over there, quickly joined by Vicky.
Seize them!
Did you get the key? Yes, it's here. Stephen clambered up onto the plinth and turned the key in the lock. Vicky practically fell through the door, and Stephen bundled her inside. Doctor, quickly!
Vicky, you promised me I would know its secrets.
Then come aboard, sir. But be quick about it. Stop them!
Keep back!
Take my hand, Doctor. Now you, Your Holiness. Close the door, would you, Vicky? There's a good girl.
Of course, Doctor. The Pope stared around himself at the gleaming white walls within.
By the light of Our Lady's brow.
Quite impressive, is it not? What are you going to do with him, Doctor?
And what did you do to Machiavelli?
Oh, patience, you two, patience.
What is this place? Am I in heaven? No, I'm not in purgatory, am I?
This, Your Holiness, is my ship, my TARDIS. I wanted to give you a glimpse of this. Something bigger, something outside yourself.
Yes, I think I see, Doctor.
Your brother and his nefarious associates, they believe they can control the state of Florence, control the future. They believe if they make the right decisions, frighten the right people, execute their friends, well, then they can bend the universe to their will.
But life isn't quite as straightforward as that.
No, it isn't.
Yes, I see that. Thank you, Doctor. Thank you for showing me this.
What, do you intend to do with your brother and his co-conspirators?
I don't know.
Well, I'm certain you will make a wise decision. You might care to consult this.
Signor Machiavelli's manuscript. Will I find anything of value in there?
Probably. Depending on how you choose to interpret it, of course.
Then that is something I'm going to think about most carefully. And especially think about what to do with my faithless brother.
Perhaps, Your Holiness, I can help you out there just a little further.
Doctor! We shall take this box of yours to the furnace and burn you all inside it.
I'm undone. I'm dying.
You there, fetch a cart. Silence, woman! You, kill that shrieking harpy.
You just told me to fetch a cart.
Kill her first. Doctor!
The TARDIS door opened, and Pope Leo X of Rome surveyed the throng.
Captain General, kindly step away from that woman. You, help me down.
Holy Father, please forgive me.
I do, my child. And I've reconsidered your previous offer. Would you care to accompany me to Bologna?
I should be honoured. But Niccolo...
Brother, you cannot.
I am getting a little tired of the Captain General of Florence telling me what I can and cannot do. Perhaps it is time that I gave him a miracle.
What are you saying?
By the power vested in me by the Curia and the Cardinals of Rome, and throughout Christendom and to all places in the world, I call for a miraculous sign that will show my brother the true power I command.
By God's light. By God's holy light.
The true power of faith.
I do not. I don't.
I think that it's time we made you a cardinal. Yes?
Well, that all worked itself out in the end, didn't it? Well done, both of you.
But what about Machiavelli? Is he dead? Did you kill him?
Oh, gracious me, no. Whatever do you think of me? No. He ingested a little concoction which I was able to whip up in the palace kitchen. It will have given him a nasty turn, that's for sure, but he'll be right as rain in a few hours. So, was the wine poisoned? I mean, Machiavelli must have been pretty sure it wasn't, or he would never have drunk it. Well, he did have a sword at his throat. But still, I very much doubt he would really have risked the life of Pope Leo X. The entire Medici family would have hunted him down if his plan had gone wrong and he'd poisoned the pontiff. Mind you, it would have been somewhat awkward for him if I had drunk it earlier, down in the cells, and then survived, wouldn't it? So, we still don't know what Machiavelli was telling the truth about and what he was lying about. Indeed, no, we do not. Not for certain. Maybe even Signor Machiavelli had begun to get a little confused about the true state of affairs. Lies within lies, tales within tales. Very, Machiavellian. Oh, yes, indeed. Very good, Doctor.
Doctor, what happened to Machiavelli? Was he executed?
Oh, no, my dear. Pope Leo let Machiavelli live out his days at his farmhouse. His punishment was giving permission for Machiavelli's great manuscript to be published. But why would he do that, Doctor? Because Machiavelli's years of quiet retirement would count as nothing, weighed against the eternal punishment of his memory. For allowing the book to be published, the Pope destroyed his reputation for centuries to come.
The Holy Father was very clever to have thought of that.
Perhaps he was, or perhaps not. I believe we have a copy in the TARDIS databanks if you want to look. A fascinating volume, many still say.
Many still say? Have you not read it then, Doctor?
Now, I believe we were on our way to those Olympic Games. Now, what could have been causing that gravitational dilation, I wonder? Solar flares? Surely not to such a great degree.
Doctor?
Neutron bombardment? That's possible. What could the source have been?
Doctor?
Oh, not now. Can't you see? I'm busy.
And the TARDIS spun on, through the vortex, off to another time, another world.
It's quite a sight. Where are we?
We should be able to see Augustus. Look, behind you.
Oh, extraordinary!
Doctor Who, The Early Adventures, The Sontarans.
Doctor, their uniforms, they're... Yes, exactly like Sarah's. Your Space Security Service. Kill us, and you'll never recover the Terranium core.
Gage, I said shoot them.
Mom, scan shows multiple sources converging on this site.
You led them to us.
We didn't do anything.
Enemy sighted. Return fire.
Who are they? Who are you fighting?
You don't know?
Doctor, it's the Sontarans.
Are you functional, Stephen Taylor? Good. So we can continue.
Big Finish. We love stories.
We have to get back to the TARDIS, but Sarah's out there. You've met these Sontarans before. Sontarans.
Hello, my name's Lisa Bauman, and I am directing The Ravelli Conspiracy.
Righty-ho, chaps. Have you got the pages?
Yes, yeah.
Marvellous.
Yeah.
So, let's give it a 12 from the top of page 30, chaps. Thank you very much indeed.
My brother will execute on sight any man who tarnishes his latest prize.
It's just a wooden box.
His Holiness the Pope's wooden box.
It is not his wooden box, it's the doctor's.
The prisoner! Guard Caesar!
I like this script. I like historicals generally, actually. I always do. It's fun to look up the period and the history, and every day's a school day, as they say, and you learn. Actually, I think Doctor Who is the most brilliant medium for learning about history, because we've already done the Farewell Great Macedon and the Spanish Inquisition and goodness knows what. And here we are right in the heart of Italian politics with the Medicis, and I really love it. I think it's a very clear story. There's lots of drama, lots of human drama. So it's not just straight fact. And I think it's terrific.
I'm Robert Kahn, I'm a writer.
I'm Tom Salinsky, and I'm also a writer. Not only have I been a Doctor Who fan since I can remember, but I've also been a big Finish fan. So having listened to lots of wonderful stories, wonderful to have the opportunity to write one.
Yes, and so for me too. I've been a fan since I was able to watch television, which is like the mid-70s, so I've always been fascinated by Doctor Who, and this has been a delightful experience, I have to say.
You would do well to remember your debt to your creator, faithless brother.
Does God also command you to consume roasted peacock's breasts by the cartload, Holy Father?
Oh, is that what you truly think of me? Well, I am determined to arrive in Florence this afternoon. I trust your Florentine retinue will protect me from these attempts on my life, should any, in fact, materialise.
Perfect. Nice contrast there. Terrific.
I've always been interested in politics and political philosophy, and I think Machiavelli was one of the few historical figures that I don't think the Doctor had ever met. And I just thought the Doctor's mind versus Machiavelli's mind would be a very interesting thing to explore. So that was a really exciting opportunity.
Yeah, the list of famous historical figures that the Doctor's not met is getting shorter, apparently, by the day. But no one had done Machiavelli, as far as we were able to tell. And then what became interesting about that, the more we looked into it, is the way in which Machiavelli's reputation actually rather outstrips his achievements. His reputation is quite prodigious, but his achievements are very modest.
He wrote a book, well, more than one book.
A few books.
But some leading books.
But a lot of it was not based in any practice. It was things he thought might be a good idea should he ever, or someone like him, ever get into a position of power. He never had very much power influence. What power influence he only had for a very short time. So that contrast was very interesting to us.
The characters in this are very well drawn. As ever, you do have to find voices that you can differentiate, but it's not just about that as well. It's about the energy of a voice. It's somebody who can put a lot of energy vocally into something. I'm not necessarily talking about bellowing everything and shouting, but especially the contrast between Pope Leo and his brother Giuliano. One is a very aggressive, paranoid warmonger, and the other one is to put it politely, a feat, shall we say? And I think that's reflected in the voices. You could go to extremes. I think you've got to be careful when you go to extremes because it does turn into panto otherwise. And I think there does have to be a streak of seriousness. And you have to care about the characters as well, regardless of whether they're goodies or baddies. But in casting, you look at tone, you look also at the quality of the actor. I think in this cast, we're particularly lucky. We have a very strong cast, all of whom have done, and I also think this is quite important, stage. And I think, especially when you're dealing, quite a few of them have been at the RSC or done Shakespeare on stage with very important companies. And I think the ability to handle language, especially language that is slightly heightened, because obviously, although it isn't, Shakespearean, there's a certain height to the drama in these, and if you need actors who can deal with that, and I think in this case we've been very lucky. We have.
I'm Maureen O'Brien, and I'm playing Vicky, and I'm also doing a bit of narration.
And also doing a bit of narration and playing, I can't remember who I'm playing. I'm playing Stephen, I'm playing the Doctor, and the narration. It's Peter Purvis. Hello. So, you're Niccolo Machiavelli, are you?
At your service, sir.
Oh, you know the name then, do you, my boy?
Well, of course I do. It's a byword for...
Ah, yes. It may well be, but not yet, eh?
The first early adventures we did, which was in ancient Rome and stuff, I mean, that was a load of fun. And this one is along the same lines. It's great to do. I don't mind. In the studio, when we were actually doing the programme originally, I always loved the historical ones. I wasn't fussed with the monsters and all the rest. On sound, audio, we can get away with the monsters are just other characters, and the machinery is just technical stuff which we don't have to perform with, we only voice perform with. That's easier, so it doesn't make so much difference.
Well, I would say the same thing. I mean, for me, it depends how well it works, how well it's written, and how well it comes off the page and, into the ear, and how vivid the images are and all that. And it really doesn't matter whether it's historical or not. I mean, I did one of those where you're by yourself doing it, I absolutely loved it. It was brilliantly written, and I suppose it was a science fiction, wasn't it? It wasn't a historical. And that was just wonderful, because it didn't make any difference whether it was historical or not. And a lot of those, yes, the first one I did was in Elizabethan times. But you've got there because of science fiction. You've got into the past because of the TARDIS has landed. So you're in science fiction, whether you're historical or not. So in a sense, it's all the same.
Peter and Maureen are a great combo. Both of them have kept the energy and the youth of their characters and their voices amazingly, actually. I think there's very little difference. They've been able to key into their old performances very well. And also the transition that Peter makes between the Doctor voice and Stephen's voice and the narration is fantastic. He's really nailed the spirit of Hartnell, and I think, as somebody said at the end of yesterday's recording, you're hard pushed to think that there's less than 3 people in the booth at the same time. It sounds like a proper full casting. I think they both do a great job, and they've got a great chemistry as well, and they get a little bit giggly when they need to. So.
I'm quite schizophrenic trying to do a sort of impression of Bill Hartnell at the same time as playing Stephen, particularly when you get the scene where, there's hardly anyone else in it and you're jumping between things. But having the other actors there, it really gives us a great lift. It really does.
Oh, it's wonderful. There's no one to spend time with like actors.
No.
I mean...
They've all got stories.
Stories.
And it's fun. All the time.
Love having fun.
Yeah,
and they're working at very, very high calibre people, but they just have fun. They just do it as though it's nothing. And that's what it's always been like with actors. I mean, they're tremendous people.
If it shows or sounds as if it's an effort, they're not doing it right. And everyone makes it look so easy and sound so easy. That's when it's being done right, I think.
Dennis Spooner is probably the writer we had most in mind.
Yes.
And one of the things I like seeing William Hartnell do is argue. I like seeing him as a kind of advocate. And so there's some great scenes in this with him and Machiavelli, where early on they're kind of fencing as cautious allies, and then later each one is trying to destroy the other with words.
Yes, and of course the Doctor has an advantage by actually knowing who Machiavelli is, so that I think gives it another little bit of subtext as well, which is quite interesting.
I know the Ravellis, all right? They come to Targus a lot.
Well, brother, I think that this presents us with another option, does it not?
What do you mean?
I can go and see them on your behalf.
Exactly. Let us try a little diplomacy. I will write a letter for this child.
I'm not a child.
This person. To take to the Ravellis. Coming from her, they will read it and they will listen. If she leaves immediately, she can be back by morning.
I should take Stephen, my friend, with me. He knows the Ravellis too. Better than I do, in fact.
Oh, well, possibly.
Excellent. Well done. I've got a couple of tiny pickups.
I think it's tremendous. It's always tremendous to hear your words spoken by professional and skilled actors, and you also don't quite know until you've heard it if it's going to work.
Yeah.
Well, I think listening to it this morning, I think it's certainly working, and they're certainly getting, I think, some of the laughs out of it as well,
Yeah,
which is great.
Peter paid a sort of backhanded compliment. He said it's really interesting when we start acting it in the booths how the comedy suddenly comes off the page. Which I think is a compliment.
I think so, yes.
It certainly sounds very good now we're hearing it.
Yeah.
It's really fun. It's terribly funny, and much funnier being performed than it seemed to be on the page. I mean, it's one of those that's really deceptive.
It comes to life off the page, doesn't it? I felt the same. I read it and I thought, as it's been played, and we've got such super actors with us, it's just lifted off, and we've had an absolute ball recording it.
Yeah. Some genius casting decisions, I have to say. And, it's just been amazing. We've laughed and laughed, and we're still laughing.
It was great with this because we were able to go and do some research, and then ideas start coming. But then, of course, you're limited by what history provides you with. So we couldn't quite let our imaginations run riot.
And actually, quite a lot of this, and historical scholars may disagree slightly, but a lot of this is sort of based at the right place at the right time, and these characters existed and these characters were around and having these sorts of arguments, and that was quite interesting to try and splice the Doctor and his companions in.
And it means you can't cheat your way out of plot problems as well. You can't suddenly say, well, of course, because in this city they've never heard of the colour purple.
Yes.
People seem to like them. The first of the early adventures, which is now out, that's been received extremely. A lot of people have said they really like that, which is great. But the individual stories, are always getting people coming up and saying how nice they are. It's very encouraging. I mean, if you can convince someone in audio that it's happening, I think you've won, really. And most people seem to think we do win. But I've got to say that to my mind, the production values that go into these after we finish the recording are phenomenal.
Oh, phenomenal,
I listen to them and think, gosh, that sound design is so clever. I read the script and it has a description of what the sound is. And you think, how the heck are they going to do that? And you do it.
Yeah.
We don't do that. We just say the words. But no, it's phenomenal. There's something very clever happens.
But I've found, at the Doctor Who 50th birthday big bash, people have been queuing all day for autographs, and then the CDs started coming, and you guys, Big Finish, were selling like hotcakes, and people kept bringing them, and saying, I loved the one, various titles. Enormous enthusiasm, and from kids as well, little kids. They love listening to them. And, as we always used to say in radio drama, the pictures are better. Yes. Actually, what you see in your head is always going to be better than any special effects, I think, that anyone can produce. People love them, I find. Letters as well, letters from people. They say, I love the blah, 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 and then they say, and I've just got the CD of blah, blah, and will you sign the cover?
The early adventures are terrific so far. We've had little bits of recasting. I think we're all absolutely delighted with Elliot, who's playing Ben. I think that's added a new dynamic to the casts as well. I think we've found the balance of the narration to the action pretty much as it should be now, and it also gives us so much more opportunity to explore stories, and as far as I can tell, the listeners have felt the same as well. They've been greeted very enthusiastically. The Yes Men has just come out. We've got one that I'm particularly fond of, The Forsaken, imminently coming out, obviously, will have come out by the time you hear this. Again, another historical, and I just love historicals. What's excited me about The Forsaken one is that Toby, who's done the editing, has brought in a lot of gamelan music, and it's about the Pacific War, and it's really keyed into the mood of it, and I love it.
I just met a little boy, the grandson of a friend, a darling child, and he waited for the whole... We had a party, and he waited the whole time until the very end before he said to me, "Were you in Doctor Who?" He'd obviously been trying to work up to asking this embarrassing question the whole time. I said, "Yes, I was. Do you like it?" And he said, "Yes, I do." So I had we were sitting in our study, and I had all the bits and pieces of Doctor Who stuff there. So I said, "Would you like one of these to listen to in the car going back to the airport?" He said, "Oh, yes." And so I gave him a couple of these, and I gave his sister a couple of them. I don't know which ones, but I got a very special message by phone the next day saying, he says to tell you he has never had such a wonderful car journey ever in his life.
How lovely. How nice.